Hello everyone, and welcome to a new series, Sonic Heroes. Now, I'm pretty sure most people who have played Sonic World have played Sonic Heroes, since it takes massive inspiration from it. But if you haven't played it, well then, I'll get to show it here to you first time. Hooray! So, first storyline we'll be doing, since there are multiple storylines in this game, Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix, we'll be tackling Team Sonic first of all. And then we'll probably be doing Team Rose, then Team Dark, and then Team Chaotix. So here's the intro cutscene for the game, and while that's going on, I mean, you have to pay attention to it. Yes, no, yeah. Quick explanation on a few things. First of all, the levels will be sped up by 1.5 times speed, because the levels in this game are actually surprisingly long. And just like in Sonic World, even though I would normally show the first, stage, like the first time going around the stage, in normal speed, and the rest sped up, in this one's case, all the stages are pretty darn long. So to keep the videos to a reasonable length of around 10 minutes, I have sped up each level by 1.5 times speed. But it's not too fast, but it's not too slow either. It at least makes the any lag unnoticeable, really, which I guess is good, because I'm recording this on an emulator. And because I've said that, I've got to clarify something, for legal reasons. I own this game copy, it's my disc being entered into the computer, and I also own the BIOS used for the PCXS2, which is the emulator I use, emulator. So it's completely legal for me to play this game on my computer, to record. I mean, I would record, on the TV and all of that, but, I don't actually have any TV recording, equipment, so emulator will have to do. Anyway, so this game, yeah, if you haven't played it, and you have played Sonic World, or you haven't played either, this game is actually one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. And I mean, I know a lot of people say this game is pretty terrible because of yada yada reason. But to me, it really is Sonic Adventure 3. I mean, I know people go, it's not Adventure 3, it's baby gameplay. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, the game was basically Sonic Adventure 3, but, they wanted to make it, for wider audiences. That's why the vast amount of characters and all that stuff. It's because of the fact they wanted to introduce more players into Sonic, I mean, Adventure 1 and Adventure 2 was actually pretty hardcore stories and stuff like that, so this is more simple, basic gameplay for, people joining the Sonic series at that time. And, this game actually does have some new mechanics in comparison to the old Sonic games. So, in Adventure 1 and 2, in Adventure 1 you had to play, as a single character throughout an entire storyline. In 6 storylines. And in Adventure 2, you had 3 different characters for 2 different storylines, but you only got to play as one at a time. In this storyline, you play as 3 characters in every level. And that's when you played into the team play gameplay, in which you have actually 3 characters, a speed, a fly, and a power character at all times. So in this one, Sonic is the speed, Tails is the fly, and Knuckles is the power. I mean, it's nothing special. I mean, it's not like you wouldn't expect that to be the combination. So, yeah, so going on here, this is the first stage of the game, Seaside Hill, and in this video we'll be going over the first 2 stages in the boss. So, in each one of these videos I'll be tackling on, 2 stages in a boss, because that's the way the game works. It does 2 stages in a boss, and there's 14 stages in each storyline, considering that, unlike its counterparts, Adventure 1 and 2, it has the exact same stages for all the missions of all the teams. I mean, Adventure 1 does do that, but they're completely different. In this game, they're basically the exact same missions, except they're, basically for the same team. Different teams, yeah. In Adventure 1, there were different missions, but they were called the same, thing, It was different gameplay, different thing for each one, different area. In this one, I think it's literally the exact same level, just for every single level, team. And you may be wondering, oh, well, what's the point of playing all 4 teams if they're all exactly the same? Well, each team does have some subtle differences. Team Rose is designed to be the easiest of the lot. That's, why I brought it up first. In terms of difficulty, it is by far the easiest. It just, the levels are shorter, you get much better power-ups, fewer enemies, and just everything's much easier for you. Team Sonic is pretty much the standard gameplay, for everyone. It's the same thing, standardized gameplay. It's a medium difficulty, really, And then you got Team Dark, which is meant to be the harder difficulty, in counterpart to Sonic, Team Sonic, in which instead of being the medium, just normal size levels, enemies here and there. In Team Dark, the whole idea is meant to be more difficult. More enemies, and in some places slightly longer levels. Like there's some sections maybe you have to go through that you don't get to go through in Team Sonic. But in the most part, the levels are the same for Team Dark and Team Sonic. It's just mainly the enemies and like obstacles are increased, which I guess makes, you know, it more interesting for them. And Team Chaotix has the most unique kind of style gameplay. Their gameplay involves missions, like, you know, collect objects or yada yada, stuff like that. You may think that sounds similar to something like the Chaos Emerald collecting parts in Adventure 2. Well, yeah, it is. It basically is going around the stage trying to find different things. However, the disadvantage this game faces is that all the stages are linear, which means if you get to the end of stages, you have to go for the loop the stage again. But then again, that could be considered an advantage, but depending on the viewpoint you look at. Because, I mean, I personally didn't find the gameplay of Knuckles in Adventure 2, and Rouge in Adventure 2, really, that fun. At least, you know, I mean, because thing is, for me, it personally slowed down the gameplay, but at least, you know, like in Adventure 1, when you played as Knuckles, you know you're going to be doing that for the whole, like, the whole thing. Like, that's going to be the whole, like, gameplay. But yeah, but this game actually has, you know, more tricks and tips and stuff like that you can do throughout the entire stage, you know, like, it is, like, multiple formations, so, like, Sonic and his speed formation, really, they could do like a, I think it's called an accelerator dash or something like that. I actually forget the name. But basically, like, you can form into a ball and then, like, charge forward quickly. And that will basically give you a massive boost of energy at a fast pace. And Tails, well, Tails can do Thunder Shoot. And that basically, you know, fires the other two components at the, well, the enemies. And Knuckles can do a similar thing where he basically gets them as boxing gloves, really. And then, or fireballs, he likes to call them, and throw them at the enemy. That's more for like a wider range kind of attack. But the interesting thing about Knuckles is that, well, basically, if you hold, after jumping, if you hold the jump button again, they'll glide down. And this is useful because in some sections of the game you actually need this, because like you'll see it like a propeller, and you'll need to like propeller up using that technique. And as I said earlier, you know, this game is designed for more, like, newer players. And it's pretty darn obvious. Like, even in the final stages of the game, or, like, Team Dark even, it'll tell you, like, what character you'll need in, like, a section. Like, yeah, I appreciate, like, that's a thing and all, but, like, I think it would have been really cool, like, in Team Dark. Like, considering that Team Dark's meant to be the harder one, at the very, very least, they could, at Team Dark, like, it doesn't give you the formations or what you need at that specific point in time, because, like, it sort of, like, takes away the difficulty. Like, the whole point of the team gameplay is that you're meant to, like, figure out the situation and be like, okay, what do I need to do here to, like, get this? But then just to have that, like, shown to you. Like, look, there's a fly thing there. Like, oh, geez, I have a wall. I can't get up. What should I do? Oh, I don't even need to think. It told me. I mean, obviously this is for younger audiences, but come on. I mean, in this first few stages it makes sense, but in the final stage of the game, I wouldn't buy it. But this is still one of my favorites because, like, I mean, to be honest, it was the first game into the series I ever played, so I can't exactly blame it for not, you know. I can probably blame part of my favoritism on nostalgia and, you know, stuff like that. But, I mean, years later, you can look at the game more objectively and say, you know, well, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was. That's fine, because, you know, that's the way we look at things in the future. We think, you know, it looked great back then, but now it looks terrible. Now look, here it doesn't tell you you need a power symbol, but apparently it just keeps telling you everywhere else. Oh, and this may be one of the most annoying parts ever. I don't think I've barely ever managed to get past this part without getting hit by these giant rocks. I always do for some reason, just... It's meant to be like an automatic segment where you just keep moving, but like... I always seem to get hit there. I mean, maybe I'm just pressing the wrong button whenever I'm doing it, but here I seem to be fine. It's just over there, but... whatever. So this ends these two stages, and then we'll on to the first boss of the game. Because this will work in the same kind of scenario every single time. It will be 2 levels, then 1 boss. And it will follow the exact same pattern every time. That's why there's 14 levels. There's 7 sections to the game, per se. Because each 2 levels and a boss have a theme. This one's all about, like, beach theme, which you've seen, like, Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace. And even the boss takes place in, like, you know, the seaside kind of area. And that will follow into, like, the next, you know, blah, 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 stuff like that. Oh, and this game does have emblems too, like Sonic World. I mean, where do you think we get the inspiration from? So this is the first boss, Egghawk. And this boss is well, pretty darn easy. Yeah, you can get hit quite a few times by him by just, accidentally ramming into him by mistake, but it's pretty standard. Literally just aim at him. Just keep hitting him, and eventually he'll die. Just don't get hit too many times in one row, or else you will die. But I think the best strategy for this is basically just take out the rotors on the side, take out the gun people, the egg pawns shooting at you, and then just take out the main section, because I think, I actually don't remember the advantage, because remember there used to be, I used to know there was an advantage to shooting off the rotors first, but now I've actually forgotten what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. But probably not. So yeah, I mean, the idea here is basically just, like, try to stay in the center and, like, hit him off. I mean, as a first boss, it's fine enough. Like, it introduced the idea of having, HP, like, I mean, high amounts of HP, because, like, the enemies in this game, unlike other games, actually have large amounts of HP. And I guess it's meant to play into the, gameplay, but, Anyway, that will wrap us up for today, because this is the end of this stage, which will mean this is the end of this video. So, join me next time for continuing on with stage 4, well, 3 and 4, and the second boss, which will be pathetically easy, as you'll see. Alright, see you later.